Oh, that's okay. Are you guys staying for the next one? Hey, hope you like the little tunes. Oh, what's you guys' name? Alec? Martin, nice to meet you. Who and where do you guys work with or for?
I work for the ACCA.
ASPCA? ASPCA, okay.
I work for Cloud for Good.
Cloud for Good, okay, nice. Familiar with both of your organizations. Great work. Nice. And you, sir, welcome into the party.
Thank you.
How are you doing? Good. And what's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Mark.
Mark. From Canada. Oh, nice. Yay. Well, thank you guys. I know I'm tired. I know it's been a great conference so far. Great conversations. So thank y'all for stopping in. Welcome. How are y'all doing? And I'm just, since we have time, and it's a small group, I'm just getting everybody's name and where you're from, where you work.
Catherine, from Montreal.
Okay.
I work at High Vision.
High Vision, okay. Two folks from Canada. And you, ma'am, with the gorgeous red hair?
Rebecca, I work around here. I work at Lions Club's headquarters in Oakland.
Okay, Lions Club, okay, yeah. I think I was talking to your coworker, because I've been recently familiar with the Lions Club in Denver, and just learning about that organization too. Oh, cool. Nice. Well, I'm gonna turn the music up a little bit. You guys get comfortable. Are any of you going to Connections?
Welcome to Hot and Toxic. One unsuspecting homeowner with
Yeah, so I like last week.
21 toxic housemates desperate for exposure.
You can call me Di because this body is to die for.
And
I'll
we
probably
will-
make you die.
Tune in for a
I'll go ahead and get started. Let folks trickle in. I'll probably just stand up here so we I'm recording. Gotta get the social media content. But again, thank you guys for joining in this conversation. I am Ebony Blake, CEO and founder of EBI Labs. We are a strategy, operations, and IT consulting firm. And we have a large mission to support 1 million organizations to secure $2 million in ROI through our strategic partnership. We are an Atlassian and Salesforce consulting and implementation partner, primarily working with social impact organizations. So that looks like nonprofits, social enterprises, healthcare, financial institutions, and small businesses. I have a personal thesis that these are the organizations that really drive our economies and security of people's well-beings. So throughout my professional career, over 11 years, I've worked at several nonprofit organizations, consulting firms, financial institutions, including $3 billion organizations, and largely have worked to implement Salesforce and technology, but as a tactic and a tool to drive strategic growth and improve upon operational processes that really focus on how do we drive results for the organization, how do we empower teams to scale their work and their efforts, and leveraging technology, again, as a tool and a tactic to secure and stabilize that effort. So my talk today will talk about going faster together, unlock agile velocity. And I'm wearing the shirt, this is my college shirt, you know, I still can fit it because I got larges in college so I could still wear them later. But my sorority, I was introduced to this quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And it's something I never heard of. And I graduated in 2009. And in the last probably 3 to 5 years, I've seen this quote being used quite often when it talks about teams, technology, collaboration, and the effort it takes to go fast is something like our economy keeps preaching to us. But the power of going together means that we can be stronger, better, and have more sustainability and scalability if the culture supports the speed and also is aligned to unlocking actual results. So there's this failing fast culture that has been really popularized, and it's like, oh, it's okay, we'll fix it later, we'll deal it, it'll come. And sometimes later does not come. And often DevOps and IT teams are the crux of innovation, and sometimes the blame for why things are not happening. And it is unfortunate that sometimes teams are pinned against each other when it's like, this is a we work, right? Like we work for organizations and businesses. We're not always just doing this for personal gain. Like we're doing this on behalf of an organization, behalf of a culture to achieve goals, unlock results, and not just do aimless work, even though sometimes it may feel like that. In DevOps specifically, there's this notion again of failing fast and how can we deliver things faster, but it rarely connects to outcomes. In my work, in my personal kind of propaganda sometimes, it's really centered around what's required, the why. what are we doing this for? How's it gonna help our teams? How's it gonna help our organizations? In particular within nonprofit and social impact spaces, that is the thesis of what we're trying to achieve. And so the technology, the business, and the IT ops team, that's an area that we can really grow in making sure the teams understand the businesses, understand the organizations, why, and how we can achieve that through technology to actually achieve those outcomes and results. So just not question you, but want to encourage you to question what's truly required amongst our work. And it's not just the testing and the building and the UAT, like those are basic standards. So that's not like the pie in the sky. The pie in the sky is with what we're delivering, how is that helping our teams? And so when we think about what is truly required, not always we have the luxury to slow down and to work with teams, and we really have to work within the culture of the organization. So sometimes really understanding what's the velocity culture within our organization. Are we required to build as fast and as simple as possible, or is there opportunity for us to slow down and really align with our stakeholders, especially if they're internal? With AI, like there are opportunities for us to leverage things like Herd, where we can get large subsets of customers to give feedback and testimonials and have that AI tool actually process that information. But we don't always have that luxury. So when we think about the velocity culture, what can we do? How can we work with our stakeholders? And at what capacity do we have to really align on the solutions in order to then determine the scope of the work, and always tying back what's our solution to the expected results and outcomes. But sometimes, the failing fast is the portion. And I always ask, well, why are we failing? So taking the time after we've delivered or in the midst of delivering, if there is a boundary of failure where it's like, okay, we don't want to wait for everything to be perfect. We don't want to impede on progress. And maybe there is this allowance of failure, but why and what is that? And how do we incorporate that into the building process? So again, we're aligning back to what is this feature? What is this solution? How is it going to actually help us achieve results? So I'm going to talk about 2 case studies of projects that I've worked on and delivered under EBI's lab. I've worked on a lot of projects, but these 2 in particular, really the strategies I really leveraged was alignment and aligning stakeholders' vision, their use cases. A lot of times stakeholders, they're centered around problems and not so much of opportunities of what we can unlock. So in these 2 case studies, we'll look a little bit as to how we were able to leverage going together to actually achieve results. So my first contract, I started EBI Labs in 2021, and my first contract was with an international investment banking firm. That was about, right now they're about $9 billion in valuation. And one of the projects I was able to work on was translating an Excel spreadsheet that housed all the financial calculations of projects that they were considering or pitching to support and migrating that into Salesforce. They've been working on this project for 4 years, and their stakeholders were never satisfied with the solution. And the solution, the technology actually was like pretty good. There was a few areas that we could adjust. And me working on this project, we actually were able to deliver it within 2 months. And a large portion of that was slowing down and actually working with our stakeholders and understanding the process for how they were going to use the solution in Salesforce, and not just saying, hey, we're done, we've delivered it, then allowing them to use it to get feedback. It was actually having working sessions with them to do a little bit of hand-holding. And again, we had that leverage because this was an internal team. But with that, we were able to provide the adequate training and support and solutioning to actually deliver the project within 2 months. The second case study is actually a client that I'm working with now. They are a U.S. national nonprofit organization supporting patients with cancer with basic needs support. Their huge organizational goal is to be able to scale and support 250,000 patients by 2030. Right now, on average, they support about 30 to 50,000 patients. So this is a number that they're trying to hit annually. And similarly, they've had a sales force for 5 years. The organization is 10 years old. And a lot of their issues were the solution, the Salesforce platform doesn't speak to their language and processes, and the org is just so complex. They can't rely on the information for reporting. There's duplicate fields. It was honestly just a mess. What we were able to do is really focus on the processes of how the IT ops and the stakeholders work together to implement practices that restored trust in the database and just the team's ability to hear what the stakeholders were asking for and incorporate more structured project management tactics to actually deliver efficient solutions that the team could rely on. So here are just some of the results of projects that we've been able to accomplish. And even for myself, like I thought we could do this like faster. And it really was going back to that element of securing alignment with the team to ensure that they are a part of the process. Our stakeholders are not just like our customers, but they are an extension of the DevOps team. And that means that they are accountable for the solutions that we're providing as well, and getting them in that mind state ensures that they are creating capacity of working with the IT ops teams as well to ensure that the best solutions are delivered to obtain the highest level of outcomes. So just as a recap, alignment to me is like key and something that I preach and preach and preach and preach. And alignment means that we have a shared concept and culture of how we do the work and what the work is doing, that there are synchronized efforts, and it's backed by our processes, our documented processes, so that we can have repeatable models of success. Stakeholders are an extension of the DevOps team, and so that means, again, they are accountable to the solution, that they are incorporating their own capacity to working with IT ops to ensure success of features that we're delivering for them on their behalf. And that for DevOps teams, we're understanding the business and the operations deeper and not just focusing on faster delivery, but having a shift towards driving results. A little plug, I've delivered an ebook called Unleashing DevOps Velocity. It's free for anyone that's interested in, and it also comes with some additional discount codes if you're interested in us doing consulting, workshops, or providing any service to you as well. So with that, I will open up for Q&A. Are there any questions? Any feedback, any tactics that you're using at your organization?
Yeah, like for those case studies you showed, is there anything you do for like sustainment? Like once you're kind of not engaged with a project anymore, how are they able to still like be effective or learn kind of from what you did or what you
Yeah, a lot of that is around strategic processes. So when we're working on a project, it's not just about the technology. It's like how can we optimize their processes as well. I'm huge on documentation, so I inundate my clients with documentations that they can leverage and use. And often when an organization, especially for our nonprofits, we're actually trying to build out like a membership community so that they can still have access to documents and best practice guides. And we offer that through like a Confluence portal. But they'll come back to us like within a year and say like, hey, we need that document guide again. Can you provide that to us? Documentation, it's tedious, but it is a tactic of securing standards within an organization. A lot of my clients, even like the for-profits, like their documentation is not always great. So that's one tactic that we leverage to ensure that there's some consistency, even if we're well beyond the project. Question? Yeah, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so can you maybe like, what does it actually look like when you go in? It kind of feels like you're probably doing some like therapy work with people.
Sometimes.
There's like, that one thing, 4 years is a long time for them to have been, like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, in that particular project, and something that I've just noticed sometimes with IT ops teams is, you know, they're really focused on the technology and learning because there's so much to do. And sometimes stakeholders, they need like project managers that kind of can serve as therapists of really like fleshing out the why and what and that hand-holding. In PMO organizations is something that's becoming a bit more popularized, but it doesn't always exist. So as consultants, like that is a part of our job of like really doing assessments of how is the organization functioning, where are there maybe internal conflicts or people just not being heard, and then how do we tie solutions and processes to ensure like there's that communication and transparency and understanding of what's being asked, and then translating that to the IT ops team. So as consultants, because we're like external parties, sometimes we are trusted more and sometimes distrusted. So there is that natural just translation and communication barrier and bridge that we're trying to build with the organization. And that just requires a little bit more tact and really listening to what is being said and what's not being said, and then how do we translate that to the development teams. Right question.
For the company that had like a lot of like the tech debt issues, what's kind of like your initial approach to understanding and kind of coming up with an approach to handling that?
Yeah, it's really like spot on. You really know. Teams will admit it themselves, like we had a lot of duplicate fields. They have a case object that's like almost at limit of like the number of fields they need. So as a consultant, which sometimes it's a little bit, puts me in a little bit of a back burner because I'm gonna be honest and say like, hey, I did this assessment, here's what we think like is actually needed to accomplish this work, and then let's phase it out. All right, so for this particular organization, they came in with us saying like, hey, we have 4 years of technical debt, we're reaching object limits, we know we need this work, but we have this other immediate project. So one thing that I do as a tactic is create optimization plans with organizations of, even if we don't even do work, of like I can generally assume, and through like project scoping, we can say, here at a high level of what we're hearing, and here's other considerations you may want to observe. You decide how you want to handle it, if you either want our support, but we want to make sure that we're giving you a fair assessment of how your organization can be strengthened. And there's so many other tools that you can do, like field analysis to see what's actually being used, what's not, optimizations just natively through Salesforce, and there's some other like third-party tools as well. And then the other thing is just listening to stakeholders. What are the issues and pain points they're coming to, and how does that tie to the actual technology features? Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys. This is my information, and that's a QR code to our website where we have free guides, and we're developing and wanting to bring a lot more information and resources, particularly to our social impact organizations. And we'd love to learn more and see how we can support you in your work too. So thank you.